Good day everyone, I am Muhamia K. Sadik. I am the second reporter of 4.4, the land ownership of the Philippines under the Americans. So Americans were aware that the main reason of social unrest o kaguluhan sa Pilipinas ay kawalan ng akses sa lupa o landlessness. So they tried to put these deplorable conditions on tenant farmers. When we say tenant farmers, ito yung mga magsasaka na nagre-rent sa mga landlords kapalit ng cash o sa kanilang mga naaani. So that's why America passed several land policies to distribute ownership of land sa malaking bilang ng Filipino tenants and farmers upang mas tumami pa ang mga small landholders. So tatlo ang kanilang napasang land policies. Una na dito ang Philippine Bill of 1902. Nakasaad dito ang rules and regulations ng disposal ng public lands. Ayon dito, ng isang individual may own 16 hectares of land, while the corporate landholder may own 1,024 hectares of land. Americans were also given rights to own agricultural land in our country. Some of the native farmers ay walang titulo ng lupa. Kaya yung sitwasyon na yun ay mas lalong lumala because of the absence of issued titles and land surveys. So upang masolusyonan ang problema na ito, the Philippine Commission enacted the Act number 496 or the Land Registration Act, which introduced the torrent system upang palitan na rin ang registration system ng mga Spaniards. So it is expected to be more organized wherein people will register their name as a owner of the land. Lastly, in 1903, the homestead program was introduced. Dito, pinapayagan ng mga tenant farmers to enter or magsimula ng agricultural business through getting 16 hectares of land. But this program was limited only on the areas of North Luzon and Mindanao, where America find it hard to colonize this part. So the question is, what happened after trying to solve this problem? After all the land policies implemented, the land ownership under the America did not improve. In fact, it even worsened because of several factors such as: Number 1 is there is no limit to the size of land holdings people could possess. Number 2 is the system was only limited to those who can afford to buy land as long as they want, register their name as a owner, and acquire fixed property titles of ownership. Lastly, not all prior lands acquired by the America were given to landless peasant farmers. Some lands sold or leased to American and Filipino business interests. Next is, this early land reform program was also implemented without support mechanisms, meaning walang mga effort or any formal institutions that provides assistance. If nakatanggap ka ng lupa, lupa lang, wala ng iba. Because of that, maraming bumalik sa tenancy kung saan they use the land of others in exchange of paying rent. Also, Filipino hacienderos purchased the land of others. Ang pinaka-worst pa dito is minsan sa pilitan nilang kinukuha if hindi mo kayang bayaran ang utang mo sa kanila. The system introduced by the American enabled moved lands to be placed under tenancy, which led to peasant uprising headed by armed peasant groups known as the Calorum Uprising and Sakdal Uprising. Peasants and workers found protection from millenarian movements that gave them hope that change could still happen through militancy. So now, let's focus on the Sakdal or Sakdalista Uprising. Sakdal Uprising was a peasant rebellion in Central Luzon that lasted only for 2 days, which is the May 2 to 3, 1935. Even though mabilis itong napabagsak ng mga government forces, but ang pangyayaring iyon still shows or portrayed the social inequality both by issues in land ownership and tenancy in the country. So the word sakdal, which means to accuse, ay siya ring title ng newspaper na pinablish ni Benigno Ramos. So, sa pamamagitan ng kanyang ginawa is nakakuha siya ng large base support from Manila and nearby provinces, which led to the establishment of the Partido Socialista in 1933. So the group Socialista demanded abolition of taxes and equal or common ownership of land among others. Pinipigilan din nila ang Nationalistas Party from accepting a gradual independence from United States because gusto nila na agaran ng mawala ang ugnayan ng Amerika sa Pilipinas. Naisip ni Benigno Ramos to actively campaign for the Socialistas to get seats in government positions rather than simply pushing critical writings through the newspaper. For a new party with a small clout, they did well in 1934 general elections, scoring 3 seats in the House of Representatives and several local posts. Dahil dito, this encouraged them to attempt a uprising o pag-aalsa in 1935. But hindi sila nagtagumpay due to this loss. The founder of the movement, Benigno Ramos, fled and escaped from Japan and the Partido Socialista collapsed. Next is during the years of Commonwealth government, the situation further worsened dahil sa tumataas na bilang ng mahihirap na nag-aalsa at ang issues is about landlord-tenant relationships. So that's why President Manuel L. Quezon laid down several justice program, and this program includes the National Rice and Corn Corporation or the NARIC to assign public defenders to assist peasants in court battles to their rights to the land. Since hindi nila kayang kumuha ng lawyer, ang public defenders ang tutulong sa kanila. Next is the Court of Industrial Relations, which exercise jurisdiction, meaning they assign official power to make legal decision and judgment sa mga hindi pagkakasunduan between the relationship of landowners and the tenant farmers. Next is the National Land Settlement Administration, kung saan pinagpatuloy pa rin ang homestead program, which is pinapayagan ang mahihirap na farmers to enter agricultural business by getting 16 hectares of land. But the effort of the Commonwealth also failed because of budget allocation, and it was also stopped because tuluyan na tayong nasakop ng bansang Japan kung saan nagkaroon ng World War II. So that's all. Thank you po sa pakikinig.